Thank you so much for tuning into the Financial Advantage. We are powered by the Wells Funding Group, and I'm Dennis Wells. I'm so excited to have Holly Connors with us here today. She's an amazing realtor with At Properties, and I've already had a great conversation with you. I'm looking forward to our time today and letting our listeners get to know more about you and what makes you amazing in your market.
Thank you. Thanks so much for having me. This is really exciting, and I'm really excited and honored to be a part of this. Thanks for including me.
Yeah, my pleasure. My pleasure. Tell us a little bit about how you got started in your real estate journey.
So I was very young. I was 19, and I was a flight attendant for United Airlines. I had been working for them for quite some time, and then 9/11 hit. After 9/11, I was what's called furloughed. It's the airline equivalent of being laid off. So after being laid off, I had decided that I needed to do something different. I was dating someone at the time who had just purchased a condo, and I saw the line item on what we then called the RESPA. For those of you that are my age, you remember the RESPA. And on the RESPA, the commission line said that there was a $30,000 commission. Well, at 19 years old or 20 at the time, I didn't realize that that 30 was split like four ways between the brokers and then between the agents. We still had agency at that time. And so I thought, well, gosh, I could do that for 30 grand. My goodness, that seemed like an easy gig. So I went out, got a real estate license, answered a Craigslist ad. I'm Craigslist old. And here I am, Craigslist ad for an assistant. And almost 20 plus years later, here I am selling real estate.
Awesome. Awesome. What was
Yeah.
it like getting into the business, at 19, 20, 21 years old?
So never having purchased anything before, it's awkward, right? Because you're the person that people are counting on to buy a house. You're the person that people are looking to make a good decision. And I had never bought anything, so I wasn't really an expert at that time. So it was awkward. However, shortly after I started, we had a big real estate boom of 2002, 2003, 2004. And we were able to do contracts on napkins and assignable contracts and all sorts of complicated things that we were doing that really forced me to become fully immersed into the industry and understand a lot of nuances in real estate.
Yeah. So jumping in with both feet, getting, soaking up as much information as you could, helped you overcome the youth and maybe personal inexperience, but you got a lot of it through just doing the job.
Yeah, just like hands-on. I'm a very tactile learner. So for me to be hands-on and to do the things is definitely the way I learn. And that first, 2 years in the industry was just a full head in dive.
Yeah, I love it. That's probably the times you look back, you're like, man, that was really exciting.
Yeah, it was very exciting. And I was young and I was single because I was no longer dating that guy, and I was fun, and I still wore heels to showings, traipsing through the snow in the city of Chicago. I mean, it was so fun. It was so fun. And At Properties at the time was just born. So it was young. Everyone who worked there was, my age. Everybody was young 20s. It was very like cool and hip and urban. It was just a different life. Just a different life.
Yeah. And you got into At Properties at the ground level then.
I sure did. So that Craigslist ad was taken out by Thad Wong, and he was looking for a real estate assistant to support him and Mike Golden, who were business partners, leaving a previous real estate firm and starting At Properties. And that ad was, I need a real estate assistant. So I applied for the job, and they hired me. And after working for them for about a year and working a lot with Dave Wolf, those of you in the industry know Dave Wolf and Ann Karan, working a lot for them, decided that I could do this on my own. And so here I am.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Obviously, a lot of changes in everything since 2001 2 range, but we had a great talk about technology. How are you leveraging the newer technology with your clients to draw you closer to them?
Yeah, it's a great question. So, a lot of changes in the real estate industry, from paper MLS to Connect MLS, from no cell phones to Blackberries, and now instant communication. I am finding that most of my clients, from the earliest buyers that are currently, 18 years old, all the way up to my seniors, everybody's loving the new communication methods. We do a lot of cloud-based information. We do a lot of texting, a lot of ongoing communication, and then we use a lot of systems to make sure that our clients are knowing what's going on a regular basis.
Yeah, yeah, I love it. I think there's two paths, whether you're in the lending industry or the real estate side, that people tend to gravitate towards with technology.
Sure.
One is utilizing technology to remove yourself from the process. The other, and I think a much better approach, is utilizing technology to remove the things between you and your client that you're helping, and really be able to be more engaged with them, because the
Yeah.
technology is taking care of the grunt work, to say, that's getting in the way of the actual interaction.
Yeah, so you and I talked about this in our pre-talk a little bit, about using technology to your benefit and making sure that you're using it in a way that is beneficial for both you and the client. And I very much survive on the idea that client first. So we have a lot of clients that love the tech and they love using it, but some of them are afraid and some of them are uncomfortable. And so that person to person connection is really impactful. We're finding that as much as the millennial group relies on tech, they very much love the person-to-person communication. They very much love being in person, and it's kind of an opposite land of what you anticipate that group loves. All the way up to our seniors, sitting down with them, walking through the process has been just heartwarming. Heartwarming
Mhm.
is a cheesy way to describe it, but heartwarming.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think deep down inside, everybody wants that connection. And, I think a lot of for the younger people, there's, that obviously you can get anything that you want super fast, way faster than what we could, obviously, when we were coming up, but, you still can't get that personal connection from your cell phone, tablet, computer, that, you need that, personal interaction, and, really the skill and the expertise
Sure.
of a professional to help you be able to sift through all the information, because that's the other problem. There's no limit to the amount of information, but how
Right.
do you make sense of everything that you get every day?
Yeah, agree. There's so much information. So, person to person has really been a cornerstone of how we run our business. And while tech is a huge crutch and incredibly helpful and certainly propels us forward, the person to person is impactful. Agreed.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So, can you describe a little bit what your perfect real estate process looks like, and how you utilize that to create an amazing client experience?
So it depends on the list side, the sell side. Are we talking about commercial or residential? There's a lot of multiple parts in there. But if we're talking about like a residential buyer, for example, our perfect process is that you first reach out to us, right? Like, start with us, because we are going to be able to direct you in the way that a lot of other professionals can't. If you start with, for example, an inspector isn't going to help you get to the finish line. We are the quarterback. The realtor is the quarterback of the whole process. I like to call myself a little bit of a home coach. So
Hmm.
coaching through the process. Let's talk about our players. Who's our starting lineup? Who's our B team? How are we getting from start to finish? And what's our end and goal? So the perfect process for us is start with the realtor, and then let's put all of the players in place. We don't want to start just looking at homes. This isn't a pair of shoes from Zappos that you can return. We want to make sure we're making good decisions. So, talking about what makes a house work, what's important to you. Paint colors and kitchen finishes are great, and people want finished kitchens and they want beautiful bathrooms, but do you, at the cost of the guts being gross? So let's talk about the guts of a house. Let's have an education. Let's make our game plan. So processes, pick your realtor, get your game plan in place, get your A team in place, and then let's go shopping. and then let's move down the pathway to success.
Yeah, and I think sometimes people, well,
Your lender, of course, your
yeah,
lender. The
it's
money
not.
part.
Yeah, well, and it's not always, it's not anybody's fault, right? We just don't know. We don't know, and a
Right.
lot of times, obviously, people get online, they see all these things, get super excited, and sometimes it's good to take a step back and get the perspective of, okay, why now? Why have you decided that now is the time to buy your house? What's going on in your life? How much do you know about the home buying or home selling process? How much, you know, how, have you thought about how your home purchase and, your strategy around financing that home, how that fits in ultimately to your retirement plan, and what your strategies are there? And, are you maxing out your 401k? Are you, do you have enough, life insurance coverage, for you and your family? Do you have, disability insurance, which, for younger people is even more important than life insurance, because statistically you're more likely to get disabled than you are to die, but not not to sacrifice one of their cost the other.
Sure.
So really getting that holistic approach, and then, like you're saying, helping them understand that, you can you can update a kitchen if the rest of the house is in really great shape. You don't
Right.
need like the best kitchen and the rest of the house is the foundation problems or whatever else.
Yeah, let's do it's fun to spend the money on the fun stuff, right? It's fun
Yeah,
to spend the money on new kitchens. It's not fun to spend money on furnaces and air conditioners and roofs. So
right.
let's find guts. And so an education in clients is really an important part. And some people just don't care. Some people just want pretty, and that's okay too. I mean, what differences are what makes the world go round. But let's make smart financial decisions. My responsibility to the client is to make sure that we take the emotion out of the purchase and make a very high quality mathematical purchase that is going to lead you to whatever your goal might be. And if your goal is a 30-year home or a 40-year home where your grandchildren are going to come, that's a very different conversation than I'm starting out. This is my first house, and I'm going to use this house as a vehicle to build wealth. Okay, well,
Hmm.
that's a different process. So let's talk about how we get to the goal.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Mhm.
Obviously, we talked about your team a little bit. So share this a little bit about how you built your team and how you create and maintain that team culture.
So I run a team with 5 salespeople. I have 4 full-time staff and 1 part-time staff member. We very much work collaboratively. So while when you hire me, you get me. When you hire Hannah on our team, you get Hannah. But our staff and our team very much works collaboratively in solving problems, in getting the property sold, in finding solutions for the buyer, in finding the right property for the buyer, in making sure that we're available to do all the things that we need to do. I mean, let's talk about the elephant in the room. Real estate's not cheap, right?
Right.
So you don't want to hire somebody that isn't available to you. And
Hmm.
if you want to talk to me, like last night, it was 10 o'clock at night. I was negotiating a contract on a Thursday evening. If your realtor's not willing to do that, like you're paying that person a lot of money. They should be reachable to you.
Hmm.
Right. So it's important that the players are reachable, that you can do the right things. And the only way one person can be reachable all the time is with a team supporting them. So our team is built around the idea that we can all work collaboratively to get everybody to the finish line. And our clients all need that hand holding and that red carpet experience to get them there.
Absolutely. Yeah, and and obviously, for most people, their home is their biggest investment, but it's also their largest asset. And
Yeah.
the majority of people, when they retire, that the bulk of their net worth is tied up in their house.
Yeah.
So um, you know, so on the one side, yes, it's not cheap to get great representation and great advice. The other side of it is very expensive to not have good
Very
representation. And
expensive to make a very expensive mistake. Agree. Yes.
yes, yes,
Yep.
because it's not like, you know, no one likes to lose money. But if you buy a car you don't like and it costs you a couple grand to get rid of it, okay, I've learned a lesson. It can be quite a different experience with real estate. And yeah, always encouraging people, say you've got, on our end, it seems like you got three choices. You can cross your fingers and hope for the best. You can kind of do the minimal amount and hope that that no one else is interested in the house that you're interested in when you're interested, so that you can play catch up. Or we can really get involved in this process and get you fully prepared and vetted, so that when that house hits the market, you're in a prime position to not
Make
only
that
make a
choice.
solid
Yeah.
offers, but but get it accepted, because you're able to compete with cash, even though you're being financed through getting fully pre-approved, having an appraisal gap strategy, talking about a cash offer option and different things that you can do creatively to
Sure.
to put your offer over the top.
Sure. And, to kind of go back to what you were saying a little bit before about hiring an expensive mistake, my favorite anecdote to that is a dentist is a doctor, right? We can all agree that a dentist is a doctor. But do you want a dentist to deliver a baby? Right? So
Right.
you don't. You want a realtor to help you with a professional realtor to help you with the right purchase. And
Yep.
so to make sure that you have an expert in that exact field is so crucial to success.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's important too with your team, where you're able to collaborate, because you're going to have various levels of experience. But it would be like, you know, if your mother was having open heart surgery, I would think, with my mom, I would want the doctor to be probably a couple weeks, away from retirement and having done thousands of procedures, not, the cheaper guy that just got out of medical school,
Right.
3 weeks ago. Now everybody has to start somewhere. But if you're a part of a group where, you're sharing those experiences and you're leveraging, so no one is out on their island of, oh, I just started and I don't know, a whole lot. No, you can leverage the
Right.
experience and the wisdom of your team.
That's right. Yep. And that's a big deal. And everybody comes with different backgrounds. So everybody's got a different place. And I think that's important. Yeah. Agreed. Hmm.
Yeah, and people are going to connect with different people. Whether it's maybe stage of life or common interests. But again, being able to lean into the collective wisdom and experience of because there's just certain things you don't learn unless you see it a number of times.
Right. Yep. Agree. Yeah.
Oh. So what are some things that you've done to navigate the challenging real estate conditions over the last 20 some years? And what advice would you give to newer agents maybe struggling in this market?
Yeah. So I always say go back to basics. If you're a new agent, definitely go back to basics. Basics are what will get you there. Knowing your market, know the inventory, go visit the houses, know what they look like, understand how a house works. Definitely know what is happening in your community. Did trash pickup change today? Are we getting a different mailman? Know that minutia detail, because that's impactful to your clients. They want to know those sorts of things. Have you ever met with the principal at the school? Do you know what the school is doing? Do you know the PTA president? What are some fun initiatives that are happening in town? Know the things, and don't know them like, oh, I'm going to look it up and I sort of know it. Know it. Know it.
Mhm.
Get involved, volunteer, do things that make you feel good about yourself, but also make the community a better place. And those are the things that are very, very, very simple to build a strong foundation on your business. Um, if you're just starting out and you're new, you don't know what you don't know. So go find a mentor, shadow that person for at least 6 weeks, and then shadow that person again in every quarter of the year, because every market is different every quarter. So you can experience all of those different markets. And definitely join a brokerage that has great training. I mean, what you learn in real estate school is important. You know the law, you understand what your license allows, but it's not practical. There's no practical education in real estate school. They don't teach you how to fill out a contract. They don't tell you how attorney approval works. They say there is attorney approval, but no one explains to you how that works, or what's the difference between Fannie and Freddie. Nobody tells
Mhm.
you that. That's not a thing
Right.
you know. Do you need to know the difference? You sure do as a
Right.
realtor. So know those things, understand them, be able to articulate some differences. And you don't have to be an expert in the difference between Fannie and Freddie, but you certainly need to understand the key phrases and understand the basic differences.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, absolutely.
yeah. So people call me from all over town and ask me questions. I mean, I probably get 7 to 8 texts a day from people all over town. Hey, Holly, do you know when trash pickup is this week? I think it's a holiday. Hey, Holly, I want to order a Christmas tree from a Boy Scout. Who's your favorite Boy Scout? Like, know the things. It's important. Those are the people, when you become the resource, you are now the resource for things in the community, activities, what's going on, and real estate. It all comes full circle.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see, I lost the author's name, but basically becoming the mayor of your network.
Right.
That you are, that you are the person they naturally think of when they have like I said, have a question about trash pickup, or hey, is there a good landscaper that is there, a pool person you recommend,
Yeah.
or an estate attorney, or and the better job that we can do in in vetting and knowing those people and providing quality recommendations, that saying that your net worth comes from your network, really rings true.
Agree. I agree with that 1,000%. Yeah. Your net worth is really what your work is worth. Agree.
Yeah.
Agree. Yeah, that's a good one. And your questions about like what you can do to make yourself the go-to person, just know the stuff, right?
Hmm.
Pay attention. Read your village blog or your city blog, or read their weekly newsletter, or understand who's being elected and why and how they're voting and what's impactful to your community. I mean, yesterday I went to a 1-hour presentation by our village manager, who just gave us a quick synopsis on all of the new buildings and all of the new projects that are happening in town. And why is that important to me? Because it's my job to know what's being built on block X, Y, and Z.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Well, and it gives you insight into where the town is going,
Mhm.
what their priorities are,
Yep.
and and what I'm hearing you say is, that if you focus on the paycheck, you're going to be missing all of these opportunities, and that paycheck's probably not going to be there. If you focus on these opportunities and really connecting at a deep level with people, the paycheck is going to take care of itself.
Paychecks will come.
Yeah,
If paychecks will come if you are good to people. They just
yeah,
will.
yeah, yeah. Because the more value that we add, the more valuable that we become to our people, for sure.
Agree. Yeah, agree with that.
Oh.
Agree.
Well, and as a lender working with realtors a lot, I know that real estate can be a 24/7
Yeah.
type activity. But when you're not, helping people buy and sell real estate or training people on your team, what are things that you enjoy doing outside of the real estate world?
Oh, so I like a lot of stuff. I'm really into platform tennis right now. That's kind of something I'm super into. It is not pickles for those of you pickleballers. It is not pickle, but I'm really into platform tennis. I joined a league and that's been super fun. I like to ski. I like to be outside. I really like my kids. My favorite athletes are my kids and watching them do their thing. So, they're available for autographs if you're into that sort of thing. And I'm going to be an empty nester super soon here. So, uh, I'm looking forward and super sad about that. I'm not sure how I'm going to, feel, but, my interests have really been about my kids and my family and kind of what they're into. And I'm just starting to relearn what I'm into. So that's a really good question, Dennis. I
Yeah.
didn't know.
Well, it's ever evolving. It's
Yeah.
it's what, and looks like maybe someone's playing soccer or something in one of those
Oh, these
pictures behind
pictures
you.
are old. My kids are in high school now. They're like looking at college. These are very old photos, but yeah, we're moving right along to college life.
Wow, wow. Do they narrowed down a list of colleges they're interested in?
Yeah, my kids are a year apart and they do. And we're working with them on getting their apps ready and getting their SAT scores and getting organized. So my sophomore, my junior, we're just sort of dipping our toe in right now.
Okay, okay, very cool. Um,
You have kids?
so I do. I've got four. We are empty nesters. So our daughter, who's our youngest, got married this year. I actually have two grandchildren. So little spoiler alert: grandchildren are better than kids.
That's what they say.
They are. They are. Everybody who says if I knew how great grandkids were, I would have had them first. Absolutely correct.
That's awesome.
And it was interesting. It was really piqued my interest about how young you were when you got into the business because my middle son actually works with me, and we homeschooled. So he actually started with me, um, you know, like the junior in high school, kind of like a work release program, and doing marketing and different things. So he actually um, got licensed at like 18 years old, and it was a lot of the same thing, right? I mean, it's like you got this kid talking to people about financing houses, and he's borrowed money from grandpa to buy a car. That's the only
Right.
real, at that point, that was the only like, he's a financial genius now, but back then, it was just all hustle and and leveraging the experience of others. So
Yeah. Yeah, totally. Oh, yeah. Well, I'm looking forward to grandkids, but not soon. I mean,
yeah,
at least 10 years, maybe 15 from now.
yeah. What are favorite places to go skiing?
Oh, I like Colorado personally. There's a lot of resorts in Colorado I like best. Europe is also a fave, but a little harder to get to.
Right.
Um, I do love Canada, but the altitude up there gets me kind of every time. I need a full day to sort of get acclimated. But yeah, downhill skiing is it's a family fave. My kids are now better than me, and my knees are having a harder time with the back bowls and the moguls, but I can still hang. I can still hang for
Okay.
a little bit longer.
I love it. I love it. Well, hey, I've had a really good time talking with you
Thank
here
you for
today.
having me. This has been great.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and I'm sure there's a lot of people that would love to talk to you about buying or selling or maybe getting into the real estate business. What's the best way for someone to get in contact with you?
Yep. So they can always call me on my personal cell phone. That number is 773-383-2490. I'm also super reachable on Facebook and Instagram. I'm Holly Connors on both of those. Or you can always shoot me an email, holly@atproperties.com.
All right, I love it. Well, I want to
Reachable.
Awesome, awesome. I want to thank everyone for paying attention with us today, joining us here, and would love it if you would, like and subscribe on whatever platform that you're listening or watching this on, and then please share this with 4 or 5 of your friends, especially those that are interested in real estate and the wealth building potential they have there. And we are the Financial Advantage, powered by the Wells Funding Group. You can reach the team and I at 219-230-8400. Holly, thank you again for being a part
Thanks
of
for
this.
having me. This is great.
All right. And thanks everyone for listening. Appreciate it.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.